Out on a walk with the dog whenever he catches up. Should bring him along. Another beautiful day, just beautiful summer day. I try to get as many of these kinds of walks done during this beautiful time, but it's probably been about, I don't know, a good 2 weeks since we've been able to get out and about and just enjoy a nice morning walk. Zeus! The guy's got to sniff everything, I swear. So I thought I'd bring you guys along for a 360 journey once again in Allco Park. You can see the way the park changes throughout the seasons as we've come here through all of them. Hey buddy. I love this place. This is definitely one of my favorite parks. It's quiet. It's a hidden jewel. The sound of the water here, it's really peaceful. The forest, the pathways that they built here. This area was pretty wrecked by the windstorm we had last, I think it was in February or so. Or no, maybe earlier. Anyways, it was late last year or early this year. Massive windstorm that took down probably a good 20 to 30 trees, some of them quite big. Still coming. And just decimated the whole middle area and crushed a few of the corrals and stuff like that where you can keep your horse to do horse camping here at Allco Park. And so they had to do some major repairs, but they're all done. Now the summertime is just, you know, normal usage, but we're out. Morning walk, brought a coffee. And I thought I'd find a nice place to sit and do a quick Q&A. I haven't done Q&A in a while either. And I've had a few questions come in over the last little while. I know I'm not keeping up with comments that well, but I'm working on it. Mostly you guys are really just, again, super complimentary, and I just want to say thank you, as always, for all the really nice comments. Horsefly. Horseflies are big. And when they nibble on you, it hurts. But yeah, just really overwhelmed actually with all the really nice stuff people say. I try to get back to everybody, so thank you, but sometimes it turns out that I can't get to them very quickly because it requires me sitting around on my computer and typing a lot of stuff. Still keeping up. So anyways, on with a few things that I can remember. Obviously we just got a new horse in, and people are already asking, well, what kind of horse is he? And let's go this way a little. He's a Yakima Wild is what he is. Down in Washington, there's an area where they rounded up a bunch of horses, and he was just a baby. So they don't know exactly what he is. He's a mix of something and something. He's from that area. Rescued when he was little, and has managed to survive his way up to the age he is now, which is about 3. Look at this place. Zeus is having a bath. How's the water, buddy? This place is gorgeous. Really nice place to hang out. Might be get a little noisy. See if we can find a quieter place to sit down and have a chat with some of the questions. But anyways, the new guy's he has no specified breed, it seems. But he's a nice guy. Really nice horse. It's gorgeous through here. Go to a smaller quieter spot. Oh, there's some people up there. We don't want to ruin their peaceful time. Okay, I'm going to find a spot and we'll sit down. Alright, this seems like a pretty good place to start. Nice beautiful spot. I've got a few questions that I can answer pretty quickly here. One of the first questions that came up because I was talking in my video yesterday about the new guy, because I'd said that I don't ride 3-year-olds, and I think Danielle had said people start their horses around here at 2. Is it a personal preference to not ride them at 3? And I think the simple answer is yeah, it's a personal preference, but science is showing more and more how riding horses at such a young age is pretty detrimental to their long-term health. Some short-term, but a lot of long-term, because they don't really stop growing, which is going to answer another question, until they're about 6 or 7, and the bones don't fuse together properly for quite some time, a long time. I think the back doesn't fuse until they're around 4 or 5. And what, Zeus? What is it? Where's the mouse? I don't know what he's doing. He's eating some grass now. Go wander around. Anyways, so because their bones don't fuse for quite a long time, it becomes destructive to their skeletal structure. And of course, they're generally not strong enough to handle the amount of weight that's on them or the activities that they're doing. So there are less and less people, trainers and people who work with horses, riding them at such a young age. It's just one of those traditions within the custom that just hasn't died down yet. But it will, as more and more studies show themselves and more people put pressure on those that have maintained those traditions to start horses and ride them, do eventing or racing or any of those things at such a young age, because they really are just still babies. So yes, it's a personal preference, but mainly because, if not completely because, science says don't do it. It's not healthy for them. You're going to wreck them for the long term. Maybe for the short term it's fun and exciting and you teach them all kinds of things because they're so malleable. But that doesn't really change when they get a little bit older. It doesn't take many years before they actually can physically manage it's just in the water. Manage what's going on for them, what you want them to do. And then horses generally don't stop growing until they're about 7. You know, that's when they really finish off that growing. Zeus. It's just a nice bath time. If you shake over here, you're in trouble. Oh, good. Thank you. Okay. Gracie. Next question about Gracie. She's on stall rest because she's got boots on her back feet. She's got boots on her back feet because there are some stuff stuck in between. Really common area for stuff to get stuck in and stay in and not be able to get back out, which is the bar and heel junction, generally called the seat of the corn, and the bar area. Do not shake over here. You'll be in big trouble. And it's not coming out just by correcting the bars and the walls themselves. So I've had to go a little bit deeper with trying to exfoliate out the dead material that's in there, and as such it's just safer to boot because you end up thinning the whole material there. So she's got boots on, and then when she kind of runs around and stuff like that, she kicks a lot, and she's actually broken 3 so far. So anyways, let's move locations and answer a couple more questions there. Zeus is already starting to wander. Alright, let's go. See, the beauty of this place lies in the serenity and the very natural growth of the plants, the indigenous plants that are here. And you can kind of get into these little trails that almost seem like deer trail, you know. Some animals travel this regularly, which they probably do, but more often than not it's humans with their children or dogs or something. Crows, all kinds of animals, wildlife here. There are bears, of course, here and there, but I don't think we're going to come across anything like that today. So. Alright, let's get to our next location. This area is really nice. It's actually a little seating area for everybody that wants to camp here or bring their horses, which are just right over the corrals right over there. So come in here, a little get together, doors over there. Anyhow, next question. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Alice who'd asked when I was doing the training with Roni. He appeared to be very afraid of the whip. She says, "Well, you don't really need to use a whip. Why use a whip then?" Kind of thing. And it's true. We don't need to use a whip on any of the horses whatsoever. Don't need a lunging whip. The point of ever having those things around is really so that we can get the horses past the problem of using them. Plenty of times you'll find horses are acclimated to these tools in a way that induces fear and causes them to run away. There's no draw when using the tool. Not always. I mean, there's plenty of people that do a lot of really good stuff with these things. But there's also plenty where they're just used to drive. And I think every tool should have drive and draw, which will lead me to my second thought on this series, and probably the final one, and we'll wander off and get on with the day. But to use the whip with Roni was to acclimate him to it so that he wouldn't be afraid of it anymore. And it means that I need to use it in a way that isn't scary. What's Zeus looking at? What do you see, buddy? And he can get used to it, and he did get used to it. As you saw through the series of live videos that I did, that he very much just stood there. And I could swing it around, and I could make a whipping sound, I could make a cracking sound, and he would just hang out with me and be with me and not worry about being driven off. So the point wasn't to use it so I could drive him and move him around and stuff like that. Well, the point was actually so that I could get him to stop doing that, because he's so used to doing that and having that as the trigger to take off. So I don't want that. I don't want him afraid. I don't want him afraid of anything. Everything should be able to have some drive and some draw. So you can use those tools to send horses around, but they shouldn't be. They should be because they aren't listening to something else that's asking them to send. If that makes any sense. Which I probably explained a million times, but I don't have a horse with me right now, so I can't show you. But I might do just a specific video on that. But great question, great statement. It's true. Don't need a whip to make him go. He's a great listener, but the problem is he was afraid of it, and I didn't want that anymore. So, and you use it. Which brings me to the last one, which was a question on drive draw, what I call drive draw. And the best way to explain it is to get you guys to watch any of the horse observing videos that I put up. And I put those up for a reason. The reason is because so often we'll see our horses playing and doing stuff, and they're literally drive, draw, drive, draw, drive them off, draw them in, drive, draw. I'm not kidding. When you look at it like that, you'll see that the majority of communication is drive or draw. And then once they're in, once they've drawn in properly, then they go together. And I think that's what I want as well with the horses that I'm with, is to be able to both drive and draw and request they come along. Like when Lena does her Liberty work. Terrific draw, maintain draw, doesn't matter where you go, she follows, nothing on her. So Drive draw is very important. It's a great thing to practice. You can really get into beautiful sort of dances with your horses and stuff like that, that has you going around and they follow, and maybe you follow them a little bit too, and you really keep in time with each other. It's a lot of fun. So that's what drive draw is really about. It's really about emulating what the horses do, which is literally sometimes some driving off and then draw the horse back in. And they'll draw back in quite often. In fact, when I get the time pretty soon here, I'm going to put up the video of this new horse, and you'll see how Luke practices drive draw a lot, because he's a level 5 horse trainer. So okay, let's move on. I've got to get on with the day. Hopefully that Q&A has been interesting. If you guys have any more questions, let me know anytime. I'm happy to answer any questions that I have answers for. Zeus and I are going to wander off. And what are we doing today, Zeus? Doing a little bit of Gracie's feet, lessons, and training in the new horse, and probably some archery. We got a busy day ahead of us. So that's about it. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if you're watching this on the normal channel, there's a 360 version as well over on the 360 channel, which allows you to look around wherever you want, which is kind of nice. I like it. All right. Beautiful day, beautiful morning. Which way are we going, buddy? Straight? Left or right? He says left. Perfect. It's the way back to the truck. Okay, I'll see you guys again tomorrow.